right, because I knew how to make what I had last. I knew how to implement a budget, and I knew how to stick to it. He was teaching me discipline too, which I feel like a lot of young kids don't have.
Nah, they be YOLOing it up.
I mean, okay.
I'm telling you, look, when you get that check, when you get that stipend check or that refund check,
man,
that refund check, that hit different when you didn't know it was coming. I ain't even know when I went to college. I was like, I got a check for me.
This in my account? Hold on, what?
Yeah, that check was good, yo. That was a good check.
For real though.
But you can blow it real fast. Maybe run off on the plug twice with that. Because you ain't used to having no money. But
that part.
Yeah, learning those principles early that's so important. Oh no! I don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord. Come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in it. Now just kidding.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them. And he's one of my favorite men at the Alpha side.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
Hey y'all, it's Coach K, and I want to welcome you to episode 23 of Level Up with Coach K. This week, we're sitting down with my amazing best friend in the whole wide world, Valerie Derrough. She is a tech girl, a financial guru. She is the most loyal, dependable, trustworthy friend that I have. And I always say she's such a lady. Like, y'all, she is such a lady. I've learned a lot about everything, being her best friend. We have been friends for over 20 years, and we are literally just like each other's support system and cheerleaders. And throughout this conversation, you're going to hear all about some of the things that we talk about all the time. I hope that y'all will stay tuned and check out this episode. It will be 2 parts. And, hey, I hope that you learn something from it. Y'all be blessed. So, welcome to episode 23 of Level Up with Coach K. I'm here with my best friend, Valerie D, or Valerie Derrough, whichever way you want to put it. Like, she French, guys. I just want y'all to know that. Instead of her, she's French.
Oh, geez.
We're going to find out before the end of next year what we are.
Yeah.
What's all up in here.
Find out this ancestry going on.
Yeah, we need to know what's all up in these veins. So, anywho, today we're going to be talking about her interests. And we're going to also talk about her role, the role that she played in creating I'm Gonna Need My Shirt Back. And, we're going to get to it. So, how are you doing, sister?
I'm good. Saturday, weather's nice. Just spend a little bit of time with my mom. Got COVID going on. So, it can't be all at other people's house too much. But it's good.
Nah, she knows she can't be doing all that. People don't be taking precautions.
They don't. These numbers are going right back up. So I'm back on all right, I'm finna just go on back into isolation because y'all doing too much.
Clank, clank. Clank, clank.
Yeah. Don't want to wear masks, none of that.
Nah. So how has quarantining been for you though?
Honestly, I'm learning your girl's more so like an introvert. I can do this. I ain't got no problems being at the crib. I'm mainly at the house Monday through Friday. I get out, run a few little errands, do what I need to do, come on back to the house, shower off, and I'm back in the house chilling.
Shower off.
Man, for real.
It's like it's in the backyard. Shower off.
I get home, take all that off, jump in the shower, and I'm back in my comfort zone.
That's too funny.
Out and about on the weekends. But other than that, I'm chilling.
That's what's up, bro. Yeah, we are definitely people who are introverts with extrovert tendencies.
Yeah.
I can speak for myself without them. But I like being at the crib. I like being at home.
Yes.
Anyway, well, we're going to let the world know a little bit more about Valerie D, or Valerie Derrough. Tell them a little bit about your background, like education-wise, just in general.
Okay.
Where you from? Where you be from?
Where I be from? I'm from here. I'm from the phone. Probably hear everybody say, "Oh, you country, you country." I can't even hear it anymore.
Mind your business. That's all.
But I am from Fort Worth, Texas. Born and raised for the most part. I went off to school for undergrad. Went to Lamar University down in Beaumont, so about an hour outside of Houston.
Honorary Cardinal here.
And a few years later, I went to Indiana to Ball State University for grad school. Did their accelerated program. But my undergraduate degree was in communications, mass media, and then my graduate degree was information and communication sciences. So a mix of business and IT.
Mm-hmm. You is smart. You is kind.
You's impotent.
She's impotent. Seriously.
Not really.
That mean Val got that so she can talk. You know, being from the funk is one thing, but she been extra trained in it too. So, you know, she can talk.
Yes, I have a formal education, but I ain't forgot where I came from.
Yeah.
Turn it on, turn it off.
I ain't forgot where I came from.
For real.
Now
Turn
that's
it
big.
on, turn it off.
That's important though. Like,
Very.
ninjas be forgetting where they from.
Yes.
And that is just not good. You be like, yeah, you live over there now, but you was just over here.
Right.
Eastwood, bruh. Like,
yes.
with us.
Yes. As a matter of fact, me and my mom was at Family Dollar yesterday. I still shop at Family Dollar. But I ran into like one of my old high school classmates. And I was like, yeah, I'm still around here. You catch around these neck of the woods every day and then.
Well, I feel like it's interesting when you run into people too. Like, it's like, you don't know how to approach them kind of because you don't know who they are now. So it's like,
yeah.
How do I even, what I say?
I'm always like, I don't know if she remember me, but I recognize their face.
Valerie always do that, y'all.
I do that all the time. I be
People
like,
remember her.
I don't know if they remember me, but I will recognize your face. I may not always remember your name, but I usually remember a face.
Valerie was our Aaliyah. You know, like she still got it too. She still got the locks. Everybody knows Valerie for her hair.
Yeah.
And then they be like, she got that nice hair. Is she cool, bro? That's what they used to say. We've been knowing each other since middle school.
Yes.
So we old, bro. Double-digit years here.
I'm coming to terms with it. We get old, bro.
Why are you so upset about getting older, bro?
I'm not upset about it, but like my body is letting me know. And I'm like, bro, body, I don't feel like the way my body be responding to stuff.
Right.
I'll be like, all right, we getting old.
That mine got to catch up because the body's saying, look at here. I know my body tell me all the time when I get these gray hairs.
Yeah.
I said, bro, we got a whole whisker. I got a whole whisker. And it was like, y'all didn't tell me. Father Time and Mother Nature didn't tell me that I was going to have white whiskers.
Good. I got white whiskers. Yeah. I just got a gray hair on the side. I still got to take care of that. Don't look too close today, man. I got to take care of that. But it's going to be all right. I hide my little gray hair on the side.
I can't wait to be salt and pepper.
I be hiding it.
I can't wait to be salt and pepper though. Before I'm gonna have that storm streak. That's the goal. I say that, but
exactly. As it start coming in, we'll see.
We all know that what we plan doesn't always come to be what it is. Yes. So speaking of plan, so I feel like a lot of times young adults believe that how they see it in their head is gonna be what it's gonna be because they said what they said. Period. But God be like, nah, fam. Yeah. We're going to turn that out. Let's do something different.
Yes.
Can you tell people how important it is to be able to adjust?
Oh, yeah.
Like, in this world, especially now.
I mean, look, we just dealing with a year of COVID. If you haven't figured out and learned that you're going to have to adjust to some stuff and you're going to go off the beaten path a little bit, I don't know what else is a better example of that. But it's very important. I feel like for me, by nature, I've always been the type of person that try to plan stuff out. But as I've gotten older, I've also had to realize too that you have to leave room in there for the unexpected. Mm-hmm. Because the only constant in life is change. Things are not going to go as planned. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, once you learn how to embrace that, a lot of the great things that tend to happen come from those moments because it's really redirecting you and pushing you towards your purpose that you didn't even know was supposed to happen or you didn't know God had for you in your future.
Absolutely.
So you absolutely have to learn how to pivot. It's not just a detour. Don't look at it as a failure. You're actually sometimes going to fail forward, as I like to call it, because in those things that didn't work out, they're pushing you closer to where you're supposed to be and when you're supposed to be there. So it's actually those moments that you learn the most about yourself and about others. That's super important. You cannot plan everything. That's the beauty of life.
It's an outline, fam. It ain't even like, honestly, I look at it like that. It's an outline. I wrote it down, you know. This is what I think God is telling me. I feel it in my spirit, so I make it in pencil. And, you know, whenever he remixes it, we have to erase and start over.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
So, you mentioned people, though. I think it's important to talk about that, too, because a lot of times we have to realize our support system may not always be the people that you think it's going to be. Like, it might be Jonathan 247 that's 10,000 yards away or 10,000 miles away in another country that supports you more than people that may be in your life now. So, tell me what a good support system looks like to you, or like, what does those words even mean?
Ooh, a support system. Okay, so I feel like it's good to have, I guess, a good mixture of different people around you. Everybody kind of serves their role, not intentionally, like I'm putting people in boxes, but everyone has just their natural gifts. Mm-hmm. And those strengths that they have, those are the things that actually help build you as a well-rounded person. You know what I'm saying? People bring out different things about you. They open your eyes. They change your perspective on things. So they just so into you in different ways that you would have never expected had you not had those diverse group of people. Mm-hmm. So for me, some of the core things that I need in a support system is just those people that are going to be honest with me even when I don't want to hear it. So you need those brutally honest people, but you know that they're telling you from a place of love and from a place of, you know, they really care about you. But you can't shell up, you can't get defensive, you can't get your feelings hurt, because in the end, they care enough about you to tell you what somebody else wants.
If you got a booger, they gonna tell you. That, like, if you need an example, that's an example.
That's a good practical example.
Yeah,
so had the people around us gonna be like, hey sis.
Flick it out. Do whatever you need to do. You gotta go. You got to go.
Okay. The people that's gonna help you grow. So that honesty, the people that's gonna be there when you really need them. You know, the people that you can truly depend on, the people that you can actually call, and they take time out of their day to listen or to help in any way that they can. People that are loyal to you, but don't be loyal to a fault. You have to know where that line is. Don't have those people around that's just been like, oh, they've been around me forever, but they like the version of me that doesn't grow, that stays stagnant. That's being loyal to a fault. You don't want that. You want the people around that are loyal, but that are holding you accountable to help you be the best person that you can be.
Absolutely.
And that's a two-way street. You should want to do the same for the people around you too. Because if we ain't growing and maturing and advancing, conversations should start changing, situations should start changing.
Absolutely.
Those are the people you want around you.
Yes. We are definitely those friends for each other. Because what we not going to do is continue to stay where we started. Because y'all saw where we started.
What's the post they doing, how it started, and where we are now?
Yeah.
Maybe it should look a little different.
How it started versus how it's going. If we posted a picture of us 20 years ago, woo! Lord Jesus, please help me. Erase those photos. For real, for real. Well, we definitely are those friends for each other, and I believe that it's important to grow, even when you feel like you don't want to, because, I mean, we all go through that phase where we be like, nope, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to do it today. And your friends are going to be the people who like, but you said.
Yeah. They're going to hold you accountable.
You said you wanted to do this, so what we doing today?
How we getting there? What's the plan?
What's the plan? What God told you? Yeah. What God told you? I just realized what shirt you had on. Yeah, girl. All right, so whenever you transition, it is hard to make the decision to even do it. So, like, do you feel like it's important for you to make the decision for yourself, or do you feel like you need those people to help validate what you're doing?
Ooh, I feel like in the beginning when people, I would say depending on the topic, whatever it is, and the person. I feel like a lot of time people need that validation, but it's more so as reassurance. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to and think your thoughts through. Me personally, as I've gotten older, you learn yourself more. You know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. So certain things, it's like in the beginning, I go through a process. I may call Trina and think it out. I'll be like, sis, look, I had this idea. Let me just run it by you. Let me know just your first thoughts. But once I get to really thinking about it and thinking it through, I don't need validation at that point. I just need to get to a point to where I've made up in my mind, like, nah, bruh, this is what I want. And this is how I think I'm going to make it work. Of course, we're going to have some pivots. The picture is not clear, but I can see the path through the trees, I guess, the forest. If I can get to the point where I see that path, I'm like, oh, I'm good. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah. I want to say this too. I think it's important for people to have friends that are going to let you be yourself. Like we said the other day, I've noticed, and I'm sure she's noticed, like how different we are and how similar we are at the same time. Valerie's you're more analytical, plan it out. I'm gonna figure this thing out.
Yes.
I'm the more like, oh, we jumping? Oh, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And I feel like you need both. Like both of us needed each other, I guess, to tone the other part down and like become balanced. So God definitely did that for a reason, because I really, sometimes. It's good to be a dreamer, guys, but sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, let's bring that down just a tad. Just bring it down a little bit. But I do appreciate you always supporting the movement.
Oh yeah.
And Valerie not only supports like this, but she supports physically too, because she's my editor.
Oh yes.
My editor.
You know? Edited both of your books.
Yes, you did. Well, she was all three of them at this point.
Well, that's
all three of them. But I think it's good to have friends that got skills too.
Oh yeah.
Make sure your friends got skills.
Yeah.
Pay them though.
Yes.
Please pay your friends.
Yeah, you will pay anybody else. So pay your friends. It doesn't have to be just a full price.
Be a professional,
but
guys.
Yes, always handle things professionally, because you always hear people talking about you can't really mix family and business or friends and business. You can, but it's how you go about doing it.
It's about respect, though. I think I never want anybody in my group, in our group, in our friendships to feel like she's just using me. No. Oh no. All right, I want you to see the value that I see in you. Yeah. But yes, let's talk a little bit about that experience with the editing, because I think it's interesting. Because I know how I write, and it's funny because I'm like, I just need to get it out. This is when our friend dynamics work, because I be just trying to get it out of my head, and I know she be reading this like, Lord, we went to school together at some point, but Jesus Christ. But yeah, tell me a little bit about the experience editing the books, and just like your overall,
Okay. So I don't discredit yourself. It don't just be like all over the place. But it is just her thoughts. You see her thoughts on the paper, and you do see that she's trying to get it out. She ain't worried about necessarily how it looks. Let me just get this thought out while God done placed it in my head.
Absolutely.
Get it out properly. So really, my process really isn't that difficult, I don't think. I've always been pretty good with English. English was just one of those natural things that kind of came to me. And with your book, I just take what you have. I usually go by how many pages or how many words. The word count is kind of better decipher than the pages, because you can have a lot of pages, but depending on how much space you have, it's not really a true tell sign of how much content is actually there. So I'll take that, kind of give an idea of how long it'll take me, and then I give myself weekly goals. From there, I can figure out how many weeks it's gonna take me. Then I can go by how many pages I should be editing per day. So then from there, that's how I give her quote, and then I just literally hold myself accountable to say, hey, I need to be editing this many pages by this time frame so I can stay on track. So when I first read it, I've learned the process that works best for me is just reading for, I guess, fluidity, making sure it flows, making sure it all makes sense. If she referenced something up top, making sure that it also makes sense later if she references it again.
Please.
Making sure it's consistent depending on how she referenced it back in chapter 1 versus how she wrote it in chapter 3. So going through there, I'm actually just reading, making sure it's really fluid. And then I will edit it again. So that time I'm going through for grammatical errors. After I've already checked it for fluidity, then it's just easier to just go through and make the grammatical corrections.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I will go through and read it one more time. The third time, I'm pretty much reading it out loud because me going to school with my undergraduate, we had to learn how to read and write. They call it like reading and writing for the ear versus for the eye. So since I read it the first time for the eye, making sure everything is fluid, now the last time I edited, I'm reading for the ear. Does it sound right when I'm reading it out loud? A lot of times you can catch things that you miss later because now you're listening to your own voice. Mm-hmm. So that's the last time that I go through. And by then, I'm pretty much done.
Y'all hear that communication? That's good. That's good. Look.
You're so silly.
So grateful, guys. So good. I ain't got time for all that. So right now,
it's a process. It takes time.
Ask that thing. That's what I'm going to do. No. Well, I think it's interesting how God speaks to both of us. You said he has a calmer voice with you.
Yeah.
With me, it's not that calm. And like whenever he says certain things, I have to write it down so I can remember. And God definitely told me that Valerie was supposed to be writing. So I was like, hey, Valerie, I need you to write something. Because I really feel like her voice was needed in this book because of what we're talking about. For those of you who don't know, shameless plug, we are, go ahead and drop that real quick. Shameless plug, I'm going to Need My Shirt Back will be out on December 1st, 2020. And Valerie is not only an editor in this book, but she definitely wrote something in the book, too.
I did.
I wear this shirt a lot, but I wore it for a specific reason today. Oh, because, it says freedom. And this is my friend that will have financial freedom. Actually, she doing her thing with the financial freedom, and I want everyone to have that. Yes. I want to have that. Mm-hmm. And I want these children to know about that. So I asked Valerie to write in the book about her experience when it comes to finances because I feel like she's the friend that can teach me all about that and help us to stay on track when it comes to that. So tell them a little bit about what you wrote in the book, why you felt that it was important to write about it, and all that good stuff.
Okay, so my portion of the book that she asked me to write, and like
you said it like that though,
because like you said, you was like, the Lord told me that you were supposed to be writing something. The Lord didn't tell me that, so I was like, say what now?
I showed you the proof though. What? Did I not?
Okay, she did show me the proof. She wrote it down a long time ago.
I did. I be waiting.
Waited for the moment, and she
dropped
the mic on me.
And I be like, God, you want me to tell her that? When? She don't want me to tell her that. I gotta wait till the right moment to tell her. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So she asked me to write in there about really my own personal financial journey a little bit. And she knows how important it is for me to really have financial freedom. So that's why she wore a shirt. But it's something that I had been working on for probably around 2, maybe 3 years, a little over 2, between 2 and 3. Because the more, I've always been a person that budgets. And what I feel like is now in hindsight, looking back, the Lord is preparing me for that area. I feel like I'm kind of gifted in that area in a sense.
She is gifted in that area. Don't you just tell me I'm not shortchanging you. You're not shortchanging yourself. Go ahead.
I'm coming to terms with it. Trina does help me with it because I'm just like, I haven't had any formal education in this, but Trina's like, you don't need formal education. You're actually living this out. So I'm like, okay, I'm gaining confidence in this area.
Good, she'll be just fine. It's shown and proved. I mean, she proved it by her lifestyle, so it's good.
Yes. So a little bit about my lifestyle. By the time, to make a long story short, by the time I graduated college with both of my degrees, I had roughly, if I had to guess, I had roughly $40,000 in debt. And I was like, all right, all I knew was start paying my loans back. Once I got my job, got situated, make the minimum payments, you'll be fine. So after I got my first job out of graduate school, I was like, all right, I'm in my career now. I need to start paying this. And maybe about a year into the career, I really sat down and I was like, all right, let's really take a look at these loans that I'm paying back. And I'm like, man, I'm not even really putting a dent into them. So I'm like, something has to give, because I don't expect to be in my late 30s, early 40s, still paying on student loans. And some of the people that I worked with, I'm like, yeah, they're in their 40s still paying on student loans. And I'm like, oh, no, that's not going to. No, that can't be me. I got to figure this thing out. Yes. I have to figure this thing out. So I kind of prayed on it, because I was like, I don't feel like I'm making enough to really be able to knock this out. But I'm like, okay, Lord, well, there's a will, there's a way. So just show me how to do this, because I do want this gone. So I feel like the Lord kind of placed it on my heart one day at work, like very strongly. I had downtime at work. And he was like, he kind of did. So he usually talks to me like pretty softly and kind of nudges me. But now I feel like that day he kind of yelled at me. And I was like, hold on, Lord, what? And he said, you can have your loans paid off by the time you're 33. So at the time, I think I was 31, somewhere around there. And I'm like, what? And I was like, okay. So I really sat on it for maybe a week. And then the thought just wouldn't leave my mind. It just kept popping back up in my mind. And I'm like, okay, if it's still here, let me actually sit down and think through this. Long story short, I did. And I started implementing what is commonly known as the snowball method. I laid out all my loans, looked at all the interest rates on them, put them in priority based on what the interest rate was. And I said, I'm simply going to tackle them one at a time. Figured out what my budget was, how much extra I could actually put towards my loans. And then once I did all of that, I was able to actually put tangible dates with them. I can have this loan paid off by this day, this loan paid off by this time frame, according to my plan. Of course, life happens. You have to pivot. You can't really plan for those, but change what you can, accept what you can't. That's all you can do. So that's when I had a plan. I told you I'm the girl that if I can see the path in the forest, then I'm with it. So by that time, my mind was made up. I can clearly see the path. This is how we can attack it. So we started attacking it. Then, during that time, I purchased a new car. I wasn't thinking about the car. So at that time, my financial freedom was only in the scope of my student loans. No, the Lord pulled me aside. He didn't want of these. Come here. And he was like, you gonna pay this car off too? Huh? What you mean I'm finna pay this car off? I just bought this car. You're gonna be financially free from all the debt that you currently have right now at the moment. I'm like, Lord, I'm trying to get to the celebration, the finish line. You prolonging my journey. No, I'm helping your journey. So I said, all right, we gonna go ahead and add the car note on up in there, so we can go ahead and pay this out too. Long story short, I started making progress. Once I probably knocked out the first 2 loans, I was like, oh, it really wasn't that bad. And I was like, oh, I can do this for real, for real, for real. This is working.
As the kids say, for real, for real.
For real, for real. This is working. And then the money that I was now saving because I was knocking out loans at a time, instead of spending the extra money, I was just putting it toward the budget I had already created. So then I started knocking them out faster because I had more money to put towards them. My last loan by itself, I think, was about $16,000. And I was like, all right, this is like that's the biggest one I had. I say the biggest for last. It had the least amount of interest because it was so large. So I said, okay, Lord, I know this is going to take some time. I did the math, did my little budget. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it by my 33rd birthday. It's tight. It's very tight. And one little mishap, I say little, but one mishap could derail everything because I may have to spend my money on something else. That's life. But I said, all I can do is try. Pray and try. I feel like this is what you told me to do, so this is what I'm going to do. Speed up. It's a week before my 33rd birthday. And I'm like, loan still ain't paid off. Not yet. And I'm like, we tight. I don't know exactly if I will make it. So, the week before my 33rd birthday, I was doing my monthly budget because I do my budget every month. And so that was just normal. Doing my monthly budget. My check hit. I'm like, okay. Calculate everything. And then as I'm calculating everything, I had to do a double take. I'm like, well, hold on, wait. Hold on, let me, you know how Madea was in the movie? And she was doing her numbers. I was like, hold on, I think I see something. And sure enough, that was a week before my 33rd birthday. I realized that I officially had enough money in my bank account to pay everything off.
Look at God.
So technically, I was debt free at that moment. I had to run the numbers about good 3-4 times. I was like, I'm forgetting a bill or something. Like, I hated that as a culture, we're always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just because of how we were raised. We were raised.
That's what happens a
to
lot
make
of times.
a little, to stretch a little and make it a lot. So I'm like searching for something that I missed, knowing that I've done this for so long and you ain't missing nothing. But it was just nature to be like, no, this can't have actually worked out the way I planned. Like, the way the Lord showed me, but the way I planned it out too. Like,
that's the key.
What? But it did. So once it happened, of course, she the first person. Trina.
I was like,
let me tell you. Because she's heard me plan this out and talk about it for the past 2 years. She heard me talk about it and work towards it. She was in the trenches with me.
It's all right.
But she was talking about your support system. She always supported me too.
I watched her not get cheese on burgers and everything. Like, everything. No, y'all laugh. Y'all laugh. It's real out here.
Yeah,
like,
it requires sacrifice.
What do you want to sacrifice? Do you want this cheese?
Extra guac.
Extra guac? We know it's extra. We know it's extra. So, no, but seriously though.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, Lord. And that's when it really hit me. And I really did have a moment. And I was like, okay, God. There's a lot of things I have trusted him with. And he has shown me who he is throughout the years. I have stories about different stuff.
Stories stories, bro.
Yeah, we might get into some of it, but we'll see. But this one, when it came to finances, and coming from the background that I come from, like I said, I'm from Fort Worth. I'm from Eastwood. You know, anything about Eastwood, that's the hood. Eastwood. I come from a lack thereof.
Yeah. So
to see that I could pay off that large amount of money by myself. I mean, no parents, no significant other, like just by herself. Me, my own check.
Well, by herself, God in her.
There you go. But to see that he can empower you to do that by yourself, I mean, that was a big deal for me. And that's when I was like, okay, Lord, this financial freedom. And it hits different when your checks coming after that. You like, bruh, all I'm paying is my monthly bills that you can't pay off, but like the majority of my check is mine.
I can't wait.
Yeah. That hit different, y'all. And that's a feeling that I feel like everybody should be able to experience in life because them checks hit different.
They
bruh.
do.
It's nice.
It can stay in the account. You ain't got to worry about nothing coming out. It's like just in there. I see the zeros, but it's a number in front of the zeros.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, so proud of my friend. I'm so proud of her. Now y'all understand why I had to have her write in the book. I'm not financially free yet. Keyword. But she is. And I was like, someone needs to speak about this that has actually done it. I could talk about it all day, but this is her life, and that's how she has lived her life. Even when we were in middle school, she knew about numbers in middle school. So, you know, you gotta be willing to tell your friends the truth.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And I will say, too, that I have to give that credit to my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So, my dad has, by the time I was maybe a preteen, maybe 12 or so, he, like, sat me down. And you know how sometimes in Black families, they don't really want to talk about, like, the numbers. We're struggling. We can't give you everything you want. But my dad, he literally used to make me sit down at the table. This was before internet was in the house and everything. And I would literally, he would lay the bills down and lay down his checkbook. And he would make me balance his account.
Yeah.
So I really do have to accredit that to my dad, because from that age, I always knew how to balance money, how to make a budget, how to pay bills. So I always knew how to think about money from that sense.
Yeah. So when he was teaching you all this stuff, like, I know you probably was like, what the heck? Like, how was you feeling when you was having to do all that? Because you was a secretary, bro.
Like, okay, and that's the inside joke, because to this day, my family low-key calls me the secretary. Like, if we planning like a trip, we want to do a family get-together, they make me do it. They're like, oh, Val is the family secretary, which I still don't like that to this day. However, I do appreciate my dad for dropping it. So at the time, like I said, my dad was probably teaching me this stuff. I was like 12, 13. So no internet. We didn't have internets in our houses. He straight up gave me a checkbook and here the bills.
Paper, guys.
My account.
Some trees.
I'm writing this stuff out. This was time consuming and it was boring. What 12, 13-year-old want to sit here and do that? I don't have really no interest in doing it. It ain't my money.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is my dad was teaching me a life skill. He was teaching me something that he wasn't taught. He had to learn how to do that on his own. Mm-hmm. So from him knowing what that struggle was like, he was like, nah, I'm finna teach y'all how to do this because I know how important it is.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to my dad for having that insight and taking the time to teach that to me, because I was ahead of the curve. By the time I got to college, I realized my friends didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But I did. It was second nature to me. So I was like talking to them and, helping them out where they could. But I never really struggled as far as I just needed to ask my parents for these large lump sums of money. Yeah.
I asked my mom for nothing in college.
Right. Because I knew how to make what I had last. I knew how to implement a budget and I knew how to stick to it. He was teaching me discipline too, which I feel like a lot of young kids don't have.
Nah, they be YOLOing it up.
Okay.
I'm telling you, look, when you get that check, when you get that stipend check or that refund check, ooh,
man,
that refund check, that hit different when you didn't know it was coming. I didn't even know when I went to college. I was like, I got a check for me.
This in my account? Hold on, what?
Yeah, that check was good, yo. That was a good check.
For real though.
But you can blow it real fast. Maybe run off on the plug twice with that. Because you ain't used to having no money. But
that part.
Yeah, learning those principles earlier, that's so important. Like, it's so important. And everything your parents teach you or make you do is not to try to punish you or try to, I guess, make your day bad. They're really trying to, like, prepare you for the next level. So just listen to your parents, guys.
For real, though.
And you can learn how to do it right from watching them do it wrong as well. So just pay attention to your parents. No, for real. Real talk. Yes. That's the best way to learn. Like, watch somebody else do it wrong so you can know not to do it that way.
That part.
End of discussion. Parents, please tell your kids the truth and, like, show them the real world stuff, because if you wait, the world is going to teach them and it's going to be wrong. And then you're going to still have to help them, because they're going to be like, Mama, I need like $200.
That part.
And you're going to be like, baby, you grown. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing to say, because parents really do try to hide it from their kids. It's not embarrassing. This is just where we at. You know what I'm saying? And you can show them that this is temporary. It doesn't have to be always. So I'm so happy that Pop shows you that. And now it's manifesting in a different way for you because you learned it early.
Absolutely.
Shoot. Yes. I'm trying to get like her financial freedom, guys. That's what we gonna name that.
Yes. Valerie I'm not gonna lie, I don't do car notes. Like, I was happy to get rid of that car note because even when I had got my first car, I had got a used car, of course, because I really didn't want a car note long term. I paid off my first car in 10 months, and then the car that I currently have, which is the one I talked about, I think it was like a 6-year note when I paid it off in a little under 3 years.
It's doable, y'all.
So it is doable. They want you to have it for the long run, but to be honest, you're saving so much money because you're saving the interest that they're charging you. That's how they're making their profit, from that interest.
The interest rate.
But if you're able to double that down, keep that money in your pocket.
Yep. Tell them how to do what you mean by double down, because some people are not gonna understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Like when it comes to a car note.
So when it comes to my car note, so for instance, my car note, it was roughly about $400. I'll just say that. $400. And because I had a budget, I knew how much extra income that I had every month. So I took that money and divvied it out. How much goes towards my student loans? How much extra can I put towards my car note? So maybe instead of paying $400 a month and you have the bill once a month, maybe I will pay the car note at the beginning of the month, pay the bill, and then the next check, my next 2-week check, I will take some money out of that and pay extra. So maybe I'm putting down an extra $200. Maybe I'm putting down an extra $300. But I'm essentially kind of double downing my note. And it's compounding really so that my total outstanding balance is decreasing at a faster rate. When you put down that extra money, all of that chunk is going towards your principal. When as your car note, you have a portion that goes towards your principal and a portion that goes towards your interest. That interest is how their company, your financer, is making money from loaning you money.
All for you.
It's taking you that much longer to pay that note because they're getting their cut out of every note. But because I'm doubling down my notes, I'm paying my balance off faster, and they're not getting as much of a cut as they would. So really, that's all that means.
So instead of buying extra shoes or trying to go out and go on a trip, we love our trips, but I'm just saying, if you have bills that you can like double down on, it's important for you to try to knock out that debt so that you won't have to worry about it, because you don't want to be 50 still in debt.
I mean, because the thing about it, if you like trips, right? I reward yourself by paying something off sooner, and that way you can actually save the money up to go on your trip quicker than you could before, because I'm knocking out debt. In my mind, my debt is like a bookshelf, and I know you use that analogy a lot.
Yeah.
If I'm created a bill, then that means somewhere on my bookshelf for the bills I already have, let me figure out what I can knock off. That way, I'm always balanced financially. It's not becoming overwhelming because I'm not continuing to create new debt before knocking out new debt.
Right. So you can still do the trips and things. You just got to prioritize. I didn't want to go back to school, guys. I made it very clear when I finished. I was like, I'm done. She knows. I was like, I ain't going back to school. Y'all tripping. Huh? Nah, God definitely wants me to go back to school, guys. But it's because of my why that is pushing me to do it.